It's been a while since we've talked about the market, and it's been kind of wild over this last couple of years, so let's talk about it. The first thing we're going to talk about are foreclosures, and I know there are a lot of buyers that are out here rooting for foreclosures, but right now in the Metro Phoenix area, we still haven't seen an uptick in this. In fact, we are still so far away from pre-pandemic levels. Look at this. This is where we were before the pandemic hit and then just fell off a cliff. Here we are right now, and we are at 11 foreclosures as of March of 2024. This was a reduction in foreclosures of 245% compared to just 1 year ago. And get this, nearly 1,000% reduction from pre-pandemic times in 2019. So looking at foreclosures, the market looks pretty damn stable, but let's look at the other metrics too. If you've followed me before, you might have heard me talk about the Cromford Report, which is where I get all of my local data here in the Metro Phoenix area. This chart here is for the Cromford Market Index, which measures supply and demand statistics here in Maricopa County. Any CMI, or the Cromford Market Index, below 90 indicates a buyer's market. Between 90 and 110 indicates a balanced market, and anything over 110 is a seller's market. Currently, we are at 110.4, so just over a balanced market. So if we are in a balanced market right now, what does that mean for prices? Well, I've got two different charts to show you. The current median sales price in the Metro Phoenix area is $455,000. Now, this is up 4.4% from just January, just a couple months ago, and almost 6% from 1 year ago today. You can see from this chart that we are still a little bit shy from the peak that we had in 2022. We're about 3.5% lower in prices than we were back then, but all things considered, I wouldn't consider this a crash, as a lot of people are saying it is. And here's another chart to look at sales prices. We are currently at $308 per square foot. This is the highest number ever recorded here in Maricopa County, even higher than the peak we had back in 2022. Even though interest rates have skyrocketed, it has not caused prices to plummet as so many thought it would. In fact, the average price per square foot here in the Metro Phoenix area has increased by nearly 6% since just January, just a few months ago, and almost 9% from a year ago today. Here's a look at our interest rates, currently hovering around 7.17%. The interest rates have increased about 10% from just a year ago, and an astonishing 58% since April 2021. With interest rates rising, it has become more challenging for a lot of buyers to qualify or be comfortable making that home purchase. So what we're seeing now is an increase in seller concessions. Seller concession is essentially a credit the seller gives the buyer in order to help them pay for their closing costs, or even right now, what a lot of people are using them for is to buy down that interest rate. You can see the seller concessions during 2021, 2022, when the interest rates were really low. Look how few seller concessions were being given. And now compare that to current at 2024, we are having 44% of our transactions here in Maricopa County are where the seller is giving a credit to the buyer to help cover their costs. And the median amount being about $9,000, $9,100, somewhere around there. Back here, only 10% of transactions had a concession, and the average amount was only about $3,000. You can see that seller concessions have increased dramatically over the last couple of years, and a lot of the sellers understand how challenging it is for buyers right now to be able to afford these homes with these increased interest rates. The ones that understand, those are the ones that are out here offering these seller concessions. So how the heck do we make it more affordable for buyers to get a home? There are two things. One, the cost of borrowing can go down. That's interest rates can be reduced. Or inventory grows to the point to where supply is abundant and demand falls. This should cause housing prices to go down. Unfortunately, we're just not there yet. The normal level of inventory that we have here in the Metro Phoenix area is somewhere between 3 and 6 months worth of inventory. Currently, we're at 2.4 months worth of inventory in the Metro Phoenix area. And until inventory starts growing and we see a spike in our months of inventory, or we see a spike in foreclosures, or a major reduction in those interest rates, I just don't see any reason for these prices to go down dramatically. And honestly, there is such a pent-up demand over this last couple years. If the Fed was able to lower those interest rates, I do think that there's going to be another frenzy that could possibly drive the prices up again. I know that was a lot of information, so take it for what it is. If you are in different areas of the valley, if you're looking in a specific area like Queen Creek or Buckeye or Phoenix, every one of these areas are going to be performing a little bit differently. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to help. Just reach out and let me know what I can answer for you.